Welcome to Uncanny X-Minutes, where we bring you the comics behind the movies. I'm Stasia.
I'm Producer James.
And this week we're watching minutes 30 through 40 of X-Men Origins, Wolverine.
That is correct.
And James, what goes on in these 10 minutes?
All right. Sabretooth kills Silver Fox. Wolverine then confronts Sabretooth and then gets his butt whooped. Mm-hmm. And then Stryker offers Wolverine adamantium for his claws.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yes.
So basically, yes, that's all. Like, besides the adamantium, we've talked.
Yeah.
We're going to have plenty of adamantium talk later. This week, we are talking killing loved ones.
It happens a lot.
I don't know if you're familiar, but the audience might not be, of the term of a female character being fridged.
Yes.
So we're going to switch to a DC comics where the Green Lantern, a Green Lantern character, had a girlfriend that got killed and then put in a fridge for him to find.
Yeah.
It was for basically to give him purpose to do something. Doesn't really matter. But if somebody says that someone's been fridged, it's usually referring to a love interest that is female that leads the male character to like push the plot along.
Yeah.
And that is literally what this is.
Yes, and it's purely just for the growth of the main male character typically. The female character that has been fridged gets no agency whatsoever.
No.
And that's a lot of Wolverine's love interest, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. Silver Fox being primo among them.
Well, in this movie, spoiler alert, if you've seen the movie, you probably should have at this point.
Yeah.
She doesn't die in this movie. She is alive later in the film.
Yes.
Because we will do a Silver Fox highlight then.
Yes. But, I mean...
But for the purposes of this...
yes. Explaining how it works in the comics. So Silver Fox, this is the...
Do you want to start with Silver Fox?
I do.
Because this basically happens in the comics.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I want to start with Silver Fox. We're going to do a deep dive on her, but I do just want to high level, this is the love interest that for me as somebody who's not the number one Wolverine fan or whatever, Silver Fox is the one. This is the one that you're talking about usually when you're Wolverine's love interest.
Oh, I thought it'd be Mariko.
No, for me, it's always been Silver Fox.
Okay.
And it might be reflective of the era that I've read in particular.
Sure. If it's not, well, let's be honest, if it's not Jean Grey.
If it's not Jean Grey.
Jean Grey is an unrequited love.
Yes.
So you can't really count her.
Yeah. For me, Silver Fox is because she's so tied up in the mess that is the Wolverine retcon.
This is true.
And so when I think about the Wolverine love interest, the love interest that's the one that's involved with who Wolverine is, the retcons all the times, it's Silver Fox. And basically this happens in the comics.
Yeah.
This is just, again, this 10 minutes also
Straight
still
out.
good. It's still just the comic book.
In the comic book, it is Sabretooth shows up, kills Silver Fox. Wolverine finds Silver Fox. Wolverine goes to a bar and fights Sabretooth. Sabretooth whoops Wolverine.
Yes.
And leaves him beat up.
That's it.
That's literally what happens in this movie.
Taken out of the comic books. No complaints here.
I have one complaint.
Oh, what's your complaint?
And it's only the bar. That bar's too big.
That's a very fair complaint.
If you, because they show this scene multiple times in the comics. This is one of those they like to come back to
they do.
and show it. Different artists show it different ways. Every single one of them shows him going into a small bar.
I mean, if you think about it logically, they're supposed to be in the middle of nowhere, kind of. Of course the bar's small.
This feels like somebody had a warehouse they no longer could use and they turned it into a bar.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's too big.
It's way too big.
It's way too big. It should be a little dive.
5 fight scenes though.
I think maybe this is just more of a modern sensibility of action scenes. A small close quartered fight between these two in a bar would be awesome.
You're not wrong.
It would be epic.
You're not wrong.
But that's just a minor issue. So far, still, this movie's not bad.
No, still not bad. Still not bad. So I'll let you know when it changes. 40 minutes in
and we're doing well.
We're doing great. It's honestly pretty. I'm actually more. The longer this goes on, the more upset I am actually because I'm did they just ruin it at the end?
You know it's going to turn though. That's the problem.
Exactly. I know it's going to get bad.
At 40, we're looking good.
Yeah, we'll see. Basically,
back to Silver Fox.
Yeah, without going too deep dive, there are multiple retcons here with Silver Fox. Silver Fox and what happens to Silver Fox and whether or not she was actually killed is a cornerstone of the Wolverine retcons and like his memories. That's just a
Go back to our
statement.
T-Mex episode.
Yeah. I will say at the end, the last retcon is that this did in fact happen. And that,
which I'm surprised about.
Yes, you did not, know this.
Know that.
It was so funny because James and I were like
before we went on mic.
You're like, well, she dies in this one though, and I'm like, when she comes back, I'm like, no, it was retconned again. She definitely did. We'll do a deep dive.
Yeah.
But after House of M, that's when it happens. The final retcon. He gets all his memories back.
Right.
When he is kneeling down, and I love that panel actually, and he's holding his head, and he's like, I remember it all. That leads to the eventual conclusion that in those memories is the Silver Fox and Sabretooth.
Okay.
So
fair.
Anyway, so leaving Silver Fox out of it, we'll come back to her another time. You mentioned.
I will say though, the Silver Fox death.
Yes.
In the comics, at one point they make it this annual thing that Sabretooth attacks Wolverine on his birthday.
Yes.
And one of the portrayals of this, he writes in blood on the wall, "Happy birthday."
Yes. One of the least gruesome
birthday attacks. Yeah. What I do like about the birthday attacks is that it really shows how ferocious Sabretooth is.
He does feel the most kind of feral in these scenes.
Have you? There's a one issue book called X-Men Origins: Sabretooth.
I've heard of this. I can't remember if I've read it or not.
Okay, it is mostly about this. Like, it is a little bit of him as a kid and getting his powers and being a monster as a child as well. And then it fast forwards and does a bunch of other things. But there's a few instances of him attacking Wolverine on his birthday. And one of them is the Silver Fox. Like, they show it again.
Yeah.
But every single one is just him just beating the crap out of Wolverine.
I know. It's like, it's really interesting, right? Because like, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into Sabretooth.
Well, I'm just saying it's interesting because Wolverine is the best at what he does.
Exactly.
You know?
He
so
kind
the
of
fact
isn't, though.
That Sabretooth can whoop him on such a regular basis is crazy.
It almost doesn't track. Because a lot of times in those like critical moments, he does win.
And maybe that's it. There's no stakes on his birthday.
I think that maybe that's why Sabretooth does it. If we're really getting to the psychology, if we're going to really stretch this, like maybe that's why Sabretooth does it, because he knows that but he is kind of expecting it though. He knows, but maybe Wolverine doesn't care as much.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky one. But Sabretooth is vicious. So this is one of those situations where it really depends who writes him.
That's very true.
But it is a known thing in Wolverine stories that Sabretooth will attack him on his birthday.
Yeah. I do think he got away with it for a bit until the end of Krakoa because Sabretooth was in the pit.
Oh, yeah, right?
So he had a few years of peace, I believe. I don't think there was any during like active high Krakoa period.
No. Not until the Sabretooth War.
Correct, yeah. And that one is, he is making up for lost time. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
That one's pretty terrible.
Sure. So anyway. we'll hold off on Silver Fox.
Okay. But let's talk about Mariko, because you did bring her up. Yeah. Very briefly. Again, this is another major character.
She comes in the Wolverine, so we'll kind of hold off on this. More of Mariko. We can't talk about her death. Do you want to talk about her death, or should we hold off and maybe?
Yeah, let's hold off. But let's just say she's the important. Other major one, and also depressing. Yeah. Like again, there's not a happy ending here. There's a reason she's not in the comics anymore.
I mean, there's also Rose.
Yes,
from Origin, which we have talked about, but we did not.
Also unrequited.
Right. Also unrequited love. She fell in love. So in Origin, we didn't go into the second half of the book where so it's Logan, I guess James Howlett. I shouldn't say Logan because the dog Logan. James Howlett and Rose run to a mining facility.
Yeah.
And she falls in love with like the foreman of the facility, and James loves her. And when Dog Logan comes and attacks James, he accidentally stabs Rose.
Yeah, she dies.
And she dies. So she only lasted the run of Origin.
Yes, not the only person not the only girlfriend of Wolverine to die by Wolverine's claws. Let's put it that way.
One of them.
That's one of them. Not all of them, though.
Not all of them. Anyway. So let's go to more of them.
There is also another famous lady of the Logans, and that is Itsu. She is Dakin's mom. So this is when
This is in Origins mostly, because
Yes.
Origins has to do with Romulus and Dakin and all that good fun stuff.
Yeah. Though this is basically like he is sent by Ogun. He's been trained under him. When he's a ninja, he goes to live in this small village for 5 years. He falls in love with Isu while he's there. While he like leaves on a mission or something, I can't remember exactly
He actually
what it is.
marries her.
Yes, they are married. They are married.
A lot of these, he doesn't marry a lot of these ladies.
Yes.
He's
He is
usually
married.
dating, maybe engaged. He marries Itsu.
Yes.
And this is 1940 something, maybe? 1946 is when he got there. So somewhere in the 40s, 50s.
Yeah, he is 100% married.
Oh, so this is right after that other. Anyway, we'll get
Yeah.
to that one right before this one.
Yes, he is 100% married to Itsu.
Yeah.
They are married for about a year, I think, given the timeline there. She is pregnant with Dakin. He does not know this. He doesn't know that Dakin survives this. He leaves. He comes back. He comes home one day. Same thing with Silver Fox. Opens the door, like cabin, a dead wife, Itsu. He thinks that her and the baby are gone. What he doesn't realize until later is that Itsu was in fact murdered by Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier.
That's where the Winter Soldier Romulus stuff starts coming in, right?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's all part of this. I don't know, like man, it's
the muck
part
from
of
last-
the Romulus
yeah.
that we talked about.
I mean,
it's irrelevant.
So if I recall, Bucky shoots her. Romulus takes the baby out and then walks away with the baby and gives him to another set of parents.
Yes, so he is like raised, fostered, and then Romulus also takes him under his wing later, and so Dakin works for Romulus later.
And that's where he gets the nickname Dakin, which means mongrel.
Yeah.
Because he is not pure-blooded Japanese.
Yes, it's pretty horrendous,
It's rough, but he takes it.
Yes,
He owns it.
He owns it, and he like.
It's like My Hero Academia.
It's a little bit.
This is his Deku.
Yeah, it's a really interesting it's the Romulus stuff, so I don't want to say it's well done, but I do think it led to a later Dakin that I think is really interesting. Yeah. So
agreed. Switch if you want to know what we're talking about. Go ahead and fast forward right to that Krakoan era X Factor Dakin, and we're having a good time.
It's amazing. He's so good in that run. It's so well done. Anyway, my favorite.
Which is also, I think, where you fell in love with iBoy.
100%. I
think you just love that X Factor run.
That X Factor run's amazing. Honestly, if you don't read it,
it's too short.
It is too short. They canceled it, and I'm really upset about it. Actually, I'm still actually really mad about it. If you literally do nothing else, if you're like, Staj, listen, I can only read a little bit of X-Men. I can't do all those things that you guys do. Don't just read the X Factor Krakoan run. Just read the X Factor Krakoan run.
I will tell you at least one thing. My daughter, I think, is starting to take all your recommendations to heart because she is reading. She's like, "Oh, we started reading this run." And I was like, "Of course you did, because Stasia said so."
I've got taste. What can I say? Anyway, we are never going to get through all these ladies if we take this long. She died.
She died. I got one for you. Do you know about Amir?
Ooh, no, I don't think so.
So we're talking the Civil War era of Marvel Comics in the Wolverine solo arc. So Civil War started by a villain named Nitro exploding near a kid's school, like a middle school, elementary school. I forget which one it was. Wolverine has been tasked to hunt him down. The Atlanteans had other ideas. They also wanted to hunt him down because it killed Namorita.
Oh, Namor's cousin,
I believe.
Yeah.
Because she's part of the New Warriors that also mostly got destroyed.
Yes.
Except for Speedball, who then turned into Penance. Different story. Anyway, one of the Atlanteans is named Amir. She's a lady. For some reason, they hook up. I don't know why.
Sometimes this just happens.
I don't know why. But she ends up like adventuring with him. Mind you, it's like they hook up in one issue and then like 6 issues later, she shows up again on a mission with him. And she gets killed by a villain named Shogun with just like a ninja star to the heart.
Wow. Okay.
Very like almost unceremoniously.
Yeah, it definitely feels unceremonious.
But they didn't even need to bring her back. Like they hooked up once and then all of a sudden and he's like digging her during this mission. He's like, wow, it's great to have a lady who like can hold her own, which is most like half of the ladies he hangs
That's
out with.
most of the ladies, yeah.
Yeah, so she dies. And like, you know what's funny? There's actually, it's in issue number 57 of this run.
Okay.
Issue number 57 of an earlier run is where Mariko dies.
Wow. Okay.
Weird. Maybe that's why it only feels like a call out if you want my opinion. They're like, we're in number 57. Let's do it again.
Oh my. It's like, please stop doing this.
So there's another one. Just a quick, because she's only in literally like 6 issues. She's very short.
Do you know about Seraph's Angels?
I don't know about Seraph's Angels. Do tell.
Okay, so this is a kind of a weird one because like they're not really all full girlfriends of like.
Wait, are these multiple Wolverine girlfriends?
Yes. So Seraph's Angel is a mercenary group that is made up entirely of Wolverine's ex-girlfriends.
Love it.
This was in 2011.
Okay.
So the Seraph is his girlfriend from the 1920s. She runs the Princess Bar in Madripoor.
Okay.
So it's actually really interesting because she's aged while he has not.
Awesome.
Which I really thought was
love
cool.
that.
Like, I actually thought that was really
interesting. She lived
interesting.
long enough to age?
Yes.
Crazy.
I will say all of these ladies kind of made out. She's like kind of his girlfriend.
Oh, you know what? I'm just looking it up as we're doing it. I think I have read this issue.
Oh, really?
I forgot about them.
Yes. Okay.
Amazing.
Great. Yeah. So I'm glad that, I mean, he really liked her, but like Seraph was actually more kind of, she was actually a Romulus plant.
Of course she was.
Because, listen, a lot of these are. I choose to ignore that. But I will say she's actually pretty fun. She leaves Seraph's Angels because she is, in fact, Seraph.
Sure.
There is the other member of Seraph's Angels is Lynx, who did not actually date Logan, but thinks she did.
Awesome.
Because it's like really complicated, but basically they set up this whole thing where she's a woman who like was raised very isolated. Mm-hmm. And so then they do like this horrible testing on her, and Wolverine finds her and he breaks her out, and like she like thinks that he's her mate because she's not like, she's like kind of feral. Again, this is like Sabretooth.
There's another character that's like that.
Yeah?
Almost exactly. Have you heard of the Native?
No.
Well, I'll go into that after you're done.
Crazy. So how they break up is that he was giving her these shots that was like counter. It doesn't matter. Long story short, he takes her out into the woods and leaves her there. She thinks he's gonna come back, and because they're mates, and they're gonna live their lives in the woods happy together. He does not, in fact, return, and she joins Seraph's Angels.
Nice.
As a mercenary group.
Okay.
And then finally there is, oh my gosh, there's one more. Do you want to tell me, there's Cassie Lathrop, who is a agent for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
The ATF.
Yes, the ATF.
That's a real.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
that's why I was reading it, because I was like, this is a real thing, and I can't just hand wave it in and make it up.
The ATF. Yeah.
She had like, basically she was like dreaming of Logan, and like was like, oh, this person is like gonna be my, like, I'm in love with him, but she doesn't really know who he is, and like whatever, and she like basically effectively tries to track him down, and so Wolverine is constantly like, please leave me alone, and she's like, no. Anyway, so then he does hook up with her because he's a bad man, and then never contacts her again, and so then she joins Seraph's Angels.
Super.
Very funny.
Very funny. It says there's also Melita Gardner.
So, okay.
No?
Melita Gardner was actually Wolverine's girlfriend.
So he's got a 50% date rate on this team.
Yeah. Well, she's a full girlfriend. I guess
well, Seraph probably was too.
Yeah, but he just leaves Madripoor and never calls her. They like
okay, so one legitimate girlfriend.
Yeah, one actually legitimate girlfriend.
Okay.
She's a reporter. She is done so dirty by Wolverine.
Okay.
Basically, he was like, she's in San Francisco. This is the San Francisco era. So they're in there. And like she like he saves her somehow. It doesn't matter. And like he's trying to say, hey, you really don't want to get involved with me. It gets like crazy.
Fair. I mean,
whatever.
as many dead lovers as he has.
It's fair. At least he's starting to warn her. She's like, no, like it's cool. She saves him from hell. Let's not even get there. She is devoted. She is truly in love with this man, devoted, does everything and stands up for him, saves his life. And then he cheats on her with Mystique, who's pretending to be Yukio, and who then sends the video to her. And she's like, you can't even be faithful? And so then she dumps him and then joins Seraph's Angels, which justifiably, let me tell you, she was done so dirty. Yeah. She's the only girlfriend I'm like, you know what? He owes you an apology.
Well, Yukio will also hold off for Wolverine.
Yes.
And also I have another one, Viper.
Okay, I have, yes, Viper.
Viper / Madam Hydra?
I only know her as Viper.
Viper can hold off until also, because she is also in the Wolverine.
Yes.
So we're going to hold off on her. I am going to rewind back to the Native.
Okay, yes.
So the Native was in the 2003 Wolverine run. She was only in issues 13 through 19. And tell me if you've heard this story before. So Wolverine and her were both in... I don't know if they were in the Weapon X program at the same time, but she was also in the program.
Okay.
She is basically a female version of him.
Okay.
This, I think, well, I guess if it was like 2003, 2004, is pre-X-23?
Yeah, I think. I'm not positive.
She has 3 claws on her hands, not the 2 in the foot.
Okay, interesting.
She is like straight like a Wolverine.
Interesting.
The person, not the animal. She is feral out in the woods. He finds her and basically calms her down. It looks like at some point they had a shack in the woods, this is like the 3rd one he's had.
This is crazy. He's got a pattern, and somebody needs to talk to him.
And so they hook up.
Yeah.
He impregnates her, and then Sabretooth comes and kills her.
Okay.
In the 6-issue arc.
So it's literally identical.
They make it seem like they've been together before. Like Wolverine does not remember him being with it because she says, "You are home," but like she can barely talk. So one of the first things she says is, "You're home."
So strange.
Very strange. There's some weirdness that also goes on there, but just the bullet points are she is from the Weapon X program, basically a female version of him, and just dies.
Okay. I have another death.
Yeah,
I mean, Seraph's Angels lived this, so they got out of here
They're the only
alive.
ones I think we've listed so far that have lived. Because even Jean Grey, the unrequited Jean Grey, has died, and one time by Wolverine's hand.
I don't think Yukio has died, has she?
I didn't. We'll find out
talk about that
with the Wolverine.
Anyway, but she's not even an official girlfriend.
We'll find out in the Wolverine. She'll get a highlight.
There is another very short-lived girlfriend in the Wolverine Punisher crossover Revelation 1 and 2.
Okay.
Her name is Kaylee Blair.
Okay.
And she gives tours at the Museum of Natural History and talks about Japanese artifacts. And then Wolverine mansplains to her about Japanese artifacts. She finds this incredibly endearing. Shocker.
Shouldn't. You shouldn't.
And they go on a date. And then while they're going, she's paged and she's like going to this building, and there's a tunnel where there's a strange object, and she opens it. It's holding Revelation, who is a mutant. We're not going to go into Revelation right now, but basically cracks it open. He wakes up, and like Revelation has like this death aura, and she dies. And then Wolverine has to carry her body out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you ready for the one before Itsu?
Ooh, okay.
We got Atsuko.
Oh, yes.
This is from the Logan run, 2008. There's only 3 issues. So we're talking World War II era Hiroshima. He escapes a POW camp with another prisoner named Ethan Warren. Ethan Warren can't die. He doesn't have regenerative abilities. He just can't die. So they put them both in a room together. We don't know what they were going to do afterwards. They escape. And as they're escaping, Wolverine and him run into this woman. And Ethan Warren wants to kill her. Wolverine's like, no, she's just a person. And they're like, they're all spies. All Japanese are spies is what the other guy says. So anyway, Wolverine beats him up, goes away with Atsuko and lives with her, or like stays with her for a couple days for the heat to come off. And then Warren finds them, kills her, and that's where we find out that he can't die. And then the other half of the book is, after that happened, the bomb falls, nuking them both. Warren doesn't die, though. He's like an irradiated, like, flame skeleton that Wolverine goes back to fight. Like, years later. It's a weird, like, 3-issue run, but it's interesting. But she dies from that guy.
Okay.
From Warren.
All right.
So this is right before Itzu, apparently. In the timeline of, like, lovers.
I don't feel like they calculated that correctly.
There's 2 things I know about Wolverine's type. You either got to be Japanese or a redhead.
It's very weird.
Those are most of them.
That literally includes Mystique, too. Legitimately.
She is a redhead.
The only person that doesn't fall under that is...
There's a handful.
There's
a few.
This isn't an official girlfriend, but like during Wolverine the X-Men, he is kind of with Storm.
Well, I was going to say, there are a couple like he's been... All right, no, I got the best one for you. You ready for the best?
Yes.
There is one... Never really dug into. It's more of a hinted at relationship that we don't know a lot about.
I think I know.
And that's Squirrel Girl. New Avengers.
Okay.
The 2010 run, number 7.
It's upstairs.
So there's this whole thing about Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have a child, and they need a nanny. So in the New Avengers run, they hire Squirrel Girl to be the nanny.
Of course.
And there is Wolverine walks in and goes, "Oh, hey, Doreen. Hey." And they like have this weird, awkward conversation that they both are going to agree to just kind of keep it civil, whatever it is. They seem to have had a messy breakup is basically what the interaction is.
Oh my goodness.
That's it. It isn't. It is literally like 3 panels worth of discussion, and that is it.
Course.
I did find it interesting looking at that book though, because like one, she doesn't look like she does in Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. It's her older look.
Yeah, she looks older. Yeah,
but it's her previous look, and she's supposed to look older.
Yeah. Also, it's really interesting. Squirrel Girl age is all over the place because she sometimes they write her for younger audiences.
Once Unbeatable Squirrel Girl happened, they
just kind of reverted her down.
Yes, they I think they cranked back her age a little bit.
Yeah, because but when she's the babysitter for Jessica Jones,
nanny.
She's the nanny. That's fair, but they're supposed to be friends. Like they ask her because she's up here.
Yeah, because she was part of the Great Lakes Avengers.
Right. And so they're supposed to kind of be the same age. But it is weird now because everybody Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is now like the definitive Squirrel Girl.
Exactly, right.
And she's so much younger in it.
Because she's a college student in that.
Yeah.
But she was created in 1991.
So, yeah.
She's been around for a while.
I know.
But it was she's a B-list character until recently.
Right.
And now she's
like pop and popularity.
Right.
So great. I love her. I love Doreen.
Who doesn't?
I know.
Apparently Wolverine does.
I mean, again, this sounds like to me a Melita Gardner situation because I'm like, Doreen did nothing wrong. You cannot convince me.
No, there's no way Doreen did anything wrong.
100%.
Wolverine left her. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Or she had to dump him just like Melita did because he's a cheater. And he literally, the whole thing is like he cannot commit. He's just he's just inherently a cheater constantly.
I mean, there were a few times he committed and they died. You got to live life.
Excuses.
I'll tell you what, if I had a string of lovers that were also a string of corpses behind me.
I know.
You got to live life to the fullest.
There's a whole movie about this that's coming out. It actually, yeah, it's a buddy comedy. It's like 2 girls, and it's like I've only had a couple of ex-boyfriends die, and she has to go tell all her exes that her ex-boyfriends are somehow mysteriously dying.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And I'm like, yeah, that's just a Wolverine.
I think Wolverine's got to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't though.
I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. Don't trust anyone named Victor.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
If you see a guy like me that looks more feral, don't trust him.
Yeah, I know. It's a bad idea.
Here's a list of my enemies.
Honestly, if you see Victor, it's probably too late.
Oh, no, it is too
Let's
late.
be real.
I mean, Bolt showed us that in this movie.
Yeah.
He opened the door and was like, oh, I thought it'd be Wade. He knew it was over. He was done.
He knew he was cooked.
It was done.
Yeah.
Game over.
Do you... We're already kind of over time. Why not? Do you feel... honestly, this is like the context of the movie, because that scene is not really something that happens in the comics, or at least not any comic that I'm aware of.
Which one? The Bolt scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think it was Victor and not Wade?
I mean, it's the plot of the movie.
Well, I mean, like, do you think like...
I don't think Stryker can trust Wade.
That's right. That's what I was kind of getting at, right?
No,
It's
he knows he can get Victor to do it.
To do it,
Yeah.
right? And that just says something about Sabretooth, I think.
Yeah.
Because like they're all bad people, but he's like particularly bad.
Well, I think he thought it'd be fun.
Right. He's such a monster.
Yeah.
Victor.
Wade would do it for money.
Which in some people think that's more reliable.
But that adamantium is very expensive.
That's true.
That's where the budget went. Also, you can't trust Wade.
Yeah. Sometimes he might change his mind.
Yeah.
That's true. Anyway.
I think it's funny, when I was reading all this, like, as I'm reading more of these Wolverine stories, they don't show him being a bad guy enough. He says he has this haunted past and these bad things he's done. And in the comics, you see the bad things he's done. One of the stories I was reading, he took a bunch of Japanese men from an internment camp and brought them into a cave to be experimented on. And he knew that it was a one-way trip. And if anybody escaped, he had to take them out. And they didn't show it being like, oh, he has issues with it or whatever. He knew this just the job he had done, and they didn't find what they needed to do. Like, they didn't learn what they were trying to learn, or the experiment didn't go well, and he had to take out everyone from the facility. Like, Wolverine had to do that. This isn't a Sabretooth story. This is a Wolverine story.
Yeah. And this is why people are like, why don't you like Wolverine? I'm like, because it's
and don't
hard
get me
for me.
wrong. Post Professor X, Wolverine can be a good guy with a haunted past. This Wolverine doesn't really have much of a haunted past, short of being a soldier. And we've seen in this movie, he's still a good guy.
Yeah.
He has to hold Victor back.
Right. That's his job. He's like, it almost seems like a weird justification for him to continually engage in warfare, because somebody has to keep Victor in check, because it would just be worse if he wasn't
Well, and
there.
he's just a soldier. It's not like, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, they went too far, and that's what made him leave.
Right.
Which is fine. But like, I guess we just don't have the time to show him being a monster too.
They don't want to, right?
They also don't want to. It's hard. Comics are easier to let someone be a monster at one point and have a redemption arc that's lasted like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, don't look too far back, because
you could write out, like, there are lots of things about characters that we just ignore.
I mean,
wholesale.
I guess we did that with Magneto too.
Yeah,
where it's like, it really
100%.
depends who writes him. He can be the most monstrous of monsters, or he is the coolest guy in the block.
Yeah, but people walk around with Magneto as right shirts, right? Like, like it just depends.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do that for this movie, though.
No, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Victor's enough.
But I'm just saying, like, Wolverine isn't haunted enough.
Yeah, like, he's haunted by the things that Victor has done to him.
Exactly.
And not by the things that he's done.
It's like the things he was asked to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still good, though.
Yes. No.
40 minutes in.
40 minutes in. Thumbs up. Still doing good.
Well, let's hope the next 10 are just as good. We'll see.
I'm seeing a third act breakdown is what I'm seeing.
I think you are correct. I feel like
when we hit minute 60, it'll either have started to turn, or that's the part where we go, I don't know.
I don't know about this.
I don't know where we're going now.
Okay. Well, anyway, I've been your host, Tasha.
I'm producer James.
And we'll see you for the next 10.